He is by far and away the most talented just because of how young he is. He's the best junior that I've seen by far. He could definitely be top.
Not only does Hikaru think that 13-year-old chess prodigy Yagiz Erdogmus from Turkey is incredible, but he also makes a prediction about the youngster's future at the top of chess. Full clip to come. First, we're diving in on this incredible game. Hikaru was playing white, Yagiz had black. It's in the bullet brawl, played in early May. They get just 1 minute on the clock, and yet the chess is still incredible. And I'll also then bring you the tournament results, which just blow the mind. Truly historic. So Hikaru with white, kicking off with his favourite, pawn to b3. What a cowboy. Now Yagiz takes the centre, bishop b2, and he takes it fully. Big control. Hikaru goes e3, preparing to develop the bishop there sometime. So a6 shuts it down. Now the knights develop here, and Hikaru goes steady in the centre, fighting for space. The bishop streams out. Pin is now broken. This knight enters, so does this one. It's all standard stuff. Castle's played, bishop e7, and now of course what do you do with white? You explode the board with the dynamite c4 move. Set up one of our favourite structures, the pawn cube, aka the pube as it's known by the top professionals. Now we get castles and Hikaru shaves. Bishop recaptures. A3 prepares to expand, so the bishop drops back preemptively, and before you can say crazy Uncle Kramnik, Hikaru takes that space. We get the rooks developing into the game, queen b6, and now a very committal move by Hikaru. You know, the top engine line here is to push with this pawn, take the space, drive back the queen. Maybe black can achieve this soon, but it is a pleasant structure for white. Nice space gain. But we run back. We didn't see pawn c5, but instead bishop takes on f6 here. I mean, is Hikaru really a grandmaster or a very naughty boy, giving up the bishop pair? We see this one recapture, and after this c5 move now played, queen c7, rook b1, looking for the queenside expansion with the pawns. Now this bishop cuts back, and it's a bit awkward for Hikaru. It's like trying to listen to him remember the names of the Star Wars robots.
c4, e4, d1, h5, d2, h5, d2, h5, d2, h5, d2, h5, d2, c5, h5, d5, e1, e1.
Rumour has it he's still hammering away trying to remember c3po. Now Hikaru does lift, but somehow the pieces are a little bit clumsy here. We see a5 play trying to undermine the pawns, another great move, and if you push on by, the knight simply moves and the c pawn's not long for this world. So instead we get bishop b5 from Hikaru. This knight dropping back, technically a good move, then you can go pawn b6 soon, but instead we get takes on b4, pawn recaptures, Yagiz hits the open file, converging with the bishop, and so Hikaru completely forgets which way his knight is supposed to move. Possibly he's setting up for the next game because he's so disheartened. Now we get rook a1, hitting that knight, and so the bishop cuts back, and I really like this. I mean, most of us, bullet chest, instant, quick, split-second decisions, you're taking on d3, but no. Yagiz plays bishop g4, creating an annoying pin, keeping pieces on the board, keeping his bishop pair. Very nice. Hikaru goes queen c2, hits that pawn, and it's defended now with g6. All the pawns on light squares. Side quest completed, and he unlocks himself a magic lesson with Hikaru. What a lucky guy. Now we see knight b to d2, opens up the tension, so takes with check. Bishop takes, the rook hits the open file, and Hikaru keeps ploughing forth. This 2-on-1 pawn majority is getting a bit dangerous. After the bishop takes, this pawn's sensitive, but maybe Hikaru already pre-moved this, or he was saying just take, I don't care, who knows. It's blitz chess, right? But Yagiz doesn't even take. He definitely could do so, but first he takes here, and now Hikaru spotted it. h3 technically best, but he lashes out with pawn f4. He yells rah like a lion. It does make the king a bit drafty, but the bishop now drops back to d6, and we get takes on c6, bishop f5 hitting the queen. It drops to c1 to stay with the pawn, and one of the best moves is going after that pawn with the rook. But instead, we see the mistake, pawn d4. but it's not obvious why it's so bad. The idea is you take here, black's going to take here and try and get at that king, open the
mushrooms.
but actually you can play pawn e4, and this guy is getting embarrassed. You know, if you come here, well, now you can kick back the bishop and then trap this one. It's completely run out of squares, everything's covered, all of those light squares. So we run it back. E4 was the shot, but missed. In the game, we get knight c4 from Hikaru, and suddenly Yaz can breathe again because the bishop hits this square, looking at the naked king, and of course no e4 anymore. The knight no longer supports the square. So knight e5 was played. It opens the attack of the queen. This one defends. Rook b5 double whammies the bishop, and so it drops back to a7, maintaining this uncomfortable contact with the white king. But Hikaru, he's got a trump of his own here with pawn c7, one step away from becoming a baby girl, and rook c8 is the best move. Look at Eval Barovic over here. It keeps a rough level equilibrium, right? But we didn't see that played. Oh no, we get the absolutely incredible pawn takes on e3. I mean, we've not seen a move that good since the noodle guy said, hey, let's set up shop outside Hikaru and Magnus's apartment. Sorry, I'm kind of scraping the barrel over here. Please send help. And the idea is that if you make the queen, which Hikaru does, as you can see, by the way, he's completely winning here with the white pieces. Queen takes, king g7, then black's got counterplay. And out of nowhere, it's really, really difficult to actually stave off the black threats. You know, computer says it's fine for white, but is it? How do you actually find these moves? Very, very difficult, low on time. And Hikaru burns through oodles of time here. There's a threat to go check, discovered check, and then you make a queen. So what to do? What if you blockade the pawn? Well, then there's this amazing line, a queen sacrifice, down on d1 with check, bishop takes, and you push with the discovered check, and the king can't come here because of the pawn, or here because of the bishop. Steps to the corner, or block with the rook, let's say, but then you make a queen, and you actually checkmate the king. So that bishop e2 blockading, not working. What if instead you try queen c2 to stop it? Well, then you get taken. Rook b2, well then still e2 discovered check. None of this stuff is working. The best defense here, or one of the two best, is king h1. But this isn't obvious because again you can go e2, bishop takes, and then you invade with the queen. You're hitting the bishop, you're also threatening to mate down here. This is the only move to save the day. Come back and touch the bishop, but then check, bishop blocks, and the queen and bishop converge on the dark squares. Now the saving grace in this variation is knight f3. You go backwards, you cover the mating square. But this is everything that Hikaru is trying to work out with just seconds on the clock, 15, 20 seconds. Very, very difficult. Let's run it back, because long story short, he goes wrong after king g7 and plays queen c1. Looks like you're covering everything, the back rank and all that good stuff, but you're just not, because there's an incredible sequence here. Hikaru resigned before it could be demonstrated. It's pawn push check, the king goes, and then you bring down the lady once more, and there's nothing you can do. If you take, well then you're taking back, making a queen. If you try and move away, well then you're making a queen. If you try and support, well then you're making a queen with mate. You know, there's really nothing you can do. What other moves are there to try? Queen d1, what else? Okay, takes is the way to put up the most resistance, but then the king runs and you can shut the mate wherever the king goes. This is one sample line. This was the final position, and not only did Yaz take down Hikaru, but he also took down the entire tournament, stormed it, won by miles, like not even close. He's just 13 years old, doing it out here in the bullet chess. Hikaru's predicting top 10.
He could definitely be top 10. He could definitely be top 10 in the future. Yeah, absolutely. No doubt about it. Easily could be top 10.
This guy's got a very, very bright future. Thanks a lot for watching. And if you want to see an incredible Hikaru game where he gives up the queen, then have a look at the video on screen. Cheers.